everyone. In the last video we discussed about what is face recognition, what are the steps required for face recognition, that is face detection, face alignment, face feature extraction, that could be classical ML algorithms like SVM or manual features or cascade features, or we can have modern feature extractions methods like deep learning embedding models. And once we have the embedding vectors, then we can compare with the database to identify the person. We basically or commonly use what is nearest neighbor search, that could be cosine similarity or Euclidean distance for similarity metric, and we just find the nearest match or nearest embedding that is having the highest similarity, and if that similarity is above our minimum threshold that is set manually by us for fine tuning, we said that it is a match, and if the similarity is less than that threshold, we say that there is no match. This can be true for both identification purpose and for verification purpose. Only the change is in accuracy of our the results. So in this video we would be discussing about how we train a face recognition model. So face recognition model can be trained in such a way. For example, suppose this is a network. There is network 1, we pass the image 1 to network 1, we have the embeddings, then we pass other image to network 2, we have the embedding, and there is some contrastive loss that compares whether those two embeddings are same or not. And this is actually in practice done more like this. We have a DNN model, we have image 1 and we have image 2. We pass it to this one, this network, we get embedding 1, then we pass the image 2 to same network as input, and as output we get the embedding as E2. Then on top of this we have contrastive loss, that could be, for this case, if there is only two image, then we can have binary cross entropy. For example, this is this might be me, this might be some other person. Then our output shall be 0 if the two person in the inputs are different, and if they are same, then we can predict 1. So this way is called binary classification. So we can train the contrastive loss as this approach. This is the easiest way to train a face recognition model, but the limitation is that suppose there are 10,000 people, and suppose each person has only 5 images, and we have 10,000 different person, and we have 5 images per person. Then for this training, the data set will be highly imbalanced. When we generate the data set, So we will be basically doing some random sampling or having brute force approach. That could be selecting P1. Suppose we select this image, and then we can randomly select any image from. First we would select any other person or any other person's image, and then we can select suppose this face. So the number of levels that will be having 1 equal to, there could be how many cases, this could be 4c2 equal to 5c2 it will be, and into number of phases. So this will be positive pairs, but for negative pairs this could be how many choices we have for negative pairs. We have around n minus 1 out of n minus 1 into 5c2. So this will be the number of images for negative pair. And this will be positive pair. So this number is very much different, and it will be less than 0.000 we had 1000, so it will be 0.0001%, or the ratio would be like this, but in percentage it will be like 0.01% of the faces will actually match. So with this kind of unbalanced data set, it will be very difficult to train a model with high accuracy. So other approach is using triplet loss. Here we would have the same DNN model, and instead of passing one image we would pass 3 images. So this will be P1, and this, then again we would have other image for same person, P1 dash, and then we would have a negative pair, P2, and we would get output E1, E2, and our goal would be to maximize the similarity between E1, E1 dash, and minimize similarity between E1 and E2. So we have a triplet of inputs, and we have two goals: maximize the similarity between the embeddings for same person and maximize the distance or minimize the similarity for different person. We can describe it as red, and these ones can be green, same person and different. This is our goal. So we have triplet loss defined somewhere. Yes, here. Here we have defined it as maximum loss could be 0, or A is the anchor image, that could be image 1, and P is the other image of same person. So A is input image, P is positive image, and we take Euclidean distance between the two embeddings, and we this subtraction is actually done to minimize the similarity between let me write here. Max of x is same as min of minus x, but here we have maximum for x, so this part is taken as negative, minus this one is here negative, and we are basically maximizing the negative, so this will be same as minimizing the x. So here we have this part is our goal is to maximize this, and this one is the L2 norm for negative pairs, so this one has to be minimized. And this negative is combining the equations, and this is the triplet loss function, and we are having other parameter called alpha. This can be added as a margin, so that the minimum distance or minimum loss has to be greater than 0, so that the model tries to separate with some margin. For example, when we plot the distribution for similarity, this highest similarity could be 1, lowest it could be 0, and this is for negative pairs, and there could be this could be the distribution for same person, and this one would be for different person, but there is still some overlap, and this alpha parameter makes these distributions shift far away. So when we have a perfect trained model, that is ideal case, we would have something like this will be negative pair, and so in ideal case there would be no overlap of the distributions, but this is ideal case, and even the best model still has some overlap, and we have discussed the results of the best models below. So this is triplet loss. Hope you understood. If you have doubts regarding this, you can ask me in the comments. We can discuss it sometime later also. This was triplet loss, and arc phase is another loss that trains on classification problem. Yes, I wanted to discuss the results. I think the best accuracy for yes, this one is the best accuracy for face verification purpose. The best accuracy is still having some not 100%, and the distribution is not completely separated for matching and different faces. There is still some overlap. Here you can see it is not 100%, and this is the state of the art result. And for face identification purpose, the accuracy is much less. We have the best result is around 82%, and celeb face is a good benchmark, and even this has only 86% accuracy when there are around 1 lakh images only, or 1 lakh registered person. And once we scale this system to something like a surveillance system for whole country, for example, we want to have Aadhaar card database, and we want to identify any random person in the country from Aadhaar card. So this task will not have just 100k images, but it will be around 1.4 crore, and the accuracy which will drop almost exponentially and would be less than 1% or 0.1% for that scale problem. We still need to wonder how Chinese government is doing this kind of surveillance with very high accuracy. They are able to identify any person from CCTV camera from anywhere, and there is no public discussion or research paper for those kind of results. Or it could be the case that their accuracy is also less, but even if they have some good solution, we don't have access to those kind of solutions or their benchmark results. So this was this was triplet loss. We discussed triplet loss, and apart from that there is another loss function, that is arc phase loss. Arc phase loss is, it tries to train on, it is just a modification of the softmax function, where we have for example, suppose this one, what are the things? S is the scale, M is the margin, this one, theta yi is the angle between embedding and target class. So it could be like we cannot have embeddings. We are training the complete model, So we have P1, P2, P3 dot 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 P. Here we have C classes, so there would be PC, and theta y comma I is between embedding and target class. So suppose this is the output head of softmax layer, this one is the ith class. So theta y I this one has some ID, suppose P2. So we have the cosine similarity, cos theta I is, this one is the similarity between these things, and m is the margin, and in denominator we are having just normalization. So in original softmax we just have one part, that is W cross F. W is the weight matrix and F is the feature vector, so that gives, and this one is just dot product. So we have just modified the dot product little bit. We have a scale parameter that is extra, and then we have this margin, this one is extra. I am not able to explain this loss function in much more detail. You can search or on internet and you can study about this. So basically it is just, the important part here is that we have margin addition and we are using this cosine similarity inside the softmax loss. So this is the main point for arc phase loss. And with arc phase loss they have achieved around how much accuracy? With arc phase they have achieved around 89% accuracy for identification purpose, or 81% for rank 1, rank 5 and rank 10. These are some different accuracy measurement criteria. So this result is achieved using arc phase loss. Even arc phase loss is not able to achieve very high accuracy. So for that purpose there is another approach that is used on top of this. This is called unified negative pair generation. This is data mining technique where we try to find pairs of images that have high similarity even for different phases. For example, in our initial image, suppose this one, suppose these pairs have very high similarity, but these are for different person we can see. So we would filter out such pairs, and at the end of loop this would be like a for loop. For Pi in P, for I in I could be not, let's say image I in Pi. There would be other for loop for Pj in person there would be for image J in PJ. We have compute T equal to distance between embedding for image. We have distance between image I and image J, and if this distance is, if D less than threshold, no, in our case we have to identify whether it is greater than some particular value, then we add this image and this image pair. So we would be having in our refined dataset we would have pairs. Similarly, this will be our filtered dataset, and we would retrain the model for this filtered dataset. We have different examples: hard negatives, medium negatives, and easy negatives, and we retrain the model and on this kind of hard negatives. This is pair of image that have very high similarity for different person. So this dataset mining alone takes, there are how many, this, suppose this one has k images, this one has k images, and this is quadratic just for data mining, and this embedding computation takes almost d time, so it is computationally expensive. Quadratic in number of images in the database or dataset, so that part is computationally expensive. And apart from that, once we have that filtered dataset, we retrain the model for n epochs, and we go through every pair. So overall there is cubic complexity for each epoch. N square into D, this one is for data mining, and this would generate almost somewhat like n images, and for each epoch we would be going through every pair, so there will be additional n multiplied for each training epoch if we are doing this data mining for every epoch, so extremely expensive. You can check the mathematics for this process more detail on the internet, and it increases the accuracy both for face verification models and also for face identification models. For face verification there is already very high accuracy, around 98% for around 5k or 6k images, or 5k or 6k individual persons having almost complete data set of 1 million images. And then for face identification purpose the accuracy is enhanced, is very high. On MegaFace there is this 95% or something better than this 86. They have achieved around 90 plus accuracy using this unified negative pair generation. And there are some challenges for face recognition systems we can discuss. The challenge is that the person in the front of camera might not be actual person. It could be a fake person. For example, suppose someone is having a printed picture of you or your image on a phone and displays to the camera. Technically you are the same person, but it is not an actual person, so that problem is somewhat easy. Other problem is that there could be deep fake generated video and the input image has a fake picture of you, so it is difficult to identify whether the person in the image is actual person or deep fake of the same person. So we would be having two problems. One is face identification, and on top of that we have to also detect whether it is a deep fake. Other problem for face recognition during the COVID era was people were wearing masks over their mouth, so only the partial face was visible. As humans we can usually recognize who the person is, and the best accuracy for face verification just is comparing whether the person is same or not. Binary classification with mask is around 91%, and identification is extremely difficult, or we can say almost negligible accuracy or zero. And other challenge is that there are some identical twins, they have exactly same face, so we cannot discriminate them currently with face recognition systems. And recently 2-3 years ago there was 3D face scan system from Apple. They have infrared based 3D face scan that not only takes care of the retina of the face but also 3D scan, and that was broken using someone 3D printed someone's face. They have a 3D model that has exact same shape and appearance to the real person, and they displayed that in front of the camera, and the security was broken. So this was the challenge. And apart from that there is computational challenge for face identification problem. We can discuss the computational challenge in next video.